In this segment of Big Match Studios doesn't know how to title videos and doesn't know what he's going to call this one, we're going to be discussing kind of the stagnation of the British economy and how much is impacting ordinary people. You know, this prediction that wages by 2026 will be lower than 2008. Are they talking like effective wages, like, you know, in terms of real terms? It's quite staggering that the UK is moving backwards here. Shameful, really, considering how many kind of wealthy people we have in this country.
Yeah, and we're going to be hit by a sudden massive increase. I mean, if they're on interest-only mortgage, there could be the doubling of what they're paying. Look, I mean, it's really important to, you know, emphasise what this is on top of. We've gone through the longest squeeze in living standards for the working-age population since the Battle of Waterloo. I mean, it really is that unprecedented. It's predicted that by 2026, wages in this country will be lower than they were back in 2008. I mean, it's an absolutely astonishing 2 lost decades of living standard growth.
And that's an important one, you know, a loss of two decades here, really. You know, since the '08 crash, it'd be about 18 years by 2026 anyways. And we've seen living standards be squeezed since the Great Recession, and it's not really recovered. We've seen other countries do a lot better than we have. So the question is, why is the UK struggling so much when it comes to living standards? The obvious answer is the Conservative Party, austerity, and their failure to redistribute wealth, and they're kind of distributing wealth up via, you know, tax cuts, via, you know, selling off public services on the cheap. It's shambolic, really. It kind of pains me to see this country in such a state from one political party causing absolute chaos.
I suppose, you know, maybe where we would disagree is I don't think inflation, in fact, I think the evidence shows very much it hasn't been driven by wages. It's not nurses and care workers spending too much money in shops. And, you know, if you look at what the International Monetary Fund or the OECD, which represents a lot of big...
well-known socialist IMF.
Rich countries, their research has suggested that corporate profiteering has had much more of an impact than wages when it comes to inflation. So I think the problem is we've had interest rates hiked to suppress demand, almost to engineer recession potentially, when inflation hasn't been driven by wage hikes. It's been driven by energy price spikes, by supply chain issues. It hasn't been driven by wages. And this is pain, huge amounts of pain. And I think a lot of people would question, was it really worth it?
So Owen Jones is cooking here. So what we can see is it's, you know, as we've discussed previously on the channel, and I think it's good that he can say this in the mainstream, which is it's not wages driving inflation. It's the energy spikes. It's the kind of companies and other things that are price gouging people. And we've seen that with, you know, food and other things in this country. You know, supermarkets making outrageous amounts of profits. And then saying, oh, you know, we've had to put prices up. Is like, so why are you making so much money then? It don't make sense. If they're increasing their profits and they're increasing their prices, tells you one thing really, doesn't it? Which is that they've increased their prices to make more money. Like, again, it's a business, but they are price gouging people. We've kind of seen kind of minimum floors set by supermarkets, so they're all selling their goods in and around the same price. There's not much competition. If they don't compete with each other, then, you know, you don't have kind of prices coming down. You have prices staying roughly the same. They might compete, you know, 1 or 2 percentage points here and there, but it doesn't really help the consumer much when supermarkets decide to do this sort of stuff. So you can see kind of with the interest rate rises as well, which are designed to stop people spending as much, when it's not the people spending too much, that's not the problem. It's not supply-led, it's demand. It's not demand-led inflation, it's supply-led inflation. That's one of the key problems we're facing in this country. And, you know, kind of, I'm glad Sophie Reg let him talk, and this other lady really didn't have much to say here based on this clip. But, you know, maybe she come out with some nonsense, or maybe she said something intelligent, I don't know. But this is kind of more further to this. This is right now. So if you look at this prediction, by the year 2026, wages will be lower than in 2008, right? When you hear stuff like what she's about to say here, it's kind of astonishing that we are in a really bad situation now. Forget 2026, which is a couple of years away. Right now, the UK is in a complete financial death spiral, in my opinion.
Now, it's the first time in almost 2 years that the bank has refrained from pushing rates up. But its governor warned today that it's very, very premature to talk about interest rates falling. And that caution is reflected in some exclusive polling done for Sky News by Stack Data Strategy. Now, it comes as this new poll reveals how people are still feeling about cost of living pressures. You can see that 12% of people felt that cost of living pressures were easing. That compares to a whopping 53% who say they're actually getting worse.
And obviously, it is still it's still worse. It's still worse because even if you have a 4% inflation rate, that still means goods are going up by 4%. Like it still means things are getting worse. Who this 12% are, I don't know. Maybe they feel like the prices aren't increasing as much, so it feels a bit easier, or maybe they've got pay bumps, or maybe they were already wealthy. I don't know, but this 53% figure is very troubling.
38% of people they're polled say that they will have less money left over this month than last month. And this is one that I think is really worrying. 38% say they will have no money left over after paying their bills this month.
So let's have a look at those two figures again, right? 38% say they will have less money. So they are actively losing money here. They are actively losing money, and they might be heading into debt potentially. And you would think that if you do work full time, as long as you don't spend money on stupid things, your money should be increasing unless you're making significant purchases. You would assume that as long as you continue with your job, you should be making more money month on month, right?
Last month, and this is one
that's clearly not the case for 38% of these people.
I think it's really worrying.
This is worse. This is the same number, which is a bit weird, but we'll roll with it. 38% of people say they'll have no money left over after bills. So it might be the case that they are already in debt, or the fact that they are one accident away, a few sick days away of just heading into absolute debt. This is very alarming that 38% of people who were polled said they will have no money left after bills. Like, these are probably people, let's be honest, that probably work hard, probably work full time, or at least part time. They might be in a relationship with a significant other, they might have children or whatever. But we're in a situation where you've got a decent chunk of people who will have no money left, who have nothing left. What do you say to them? What are they supposed to do? Eat less avocado toast or some other conservative nonsense? This is something pretty funny, actually, we might discuss soon, or I might have discussed it already. But like, this is painful. This is painful that we are in a situation where the country's talking about inflation is coming down, the inflation rate's coming down. Things are getting better. It's like, no, they are still getting worse. They're still getting significantly worse, and to tell people, things are getting better, it just doesn't make sense. Effectively, you're gaslighting people into believing their situation should be improving when it's not, and then you just create a situation where you can blame individuals for the problems they are facing when this is systemic led. It doesn't matter unless you're putting in a ridiculous amount more extra hours at work. You're in a situation where things just are not improving, and it's just tragic to see that. I don't know what more to say on this one. I'm just kind of alarmed. The situation, like, wages in real terms, I think will be lower in 2026 than they were in 2008. We have gone backwards. Over 18 years, we have gone backwards in this country. And you can blame COVID all you want. You can blame Brexit all you want, which both of these things did play a factor in it. But overall, you got to look at which party was in charge over this period of time, and the answer is there. Since the financial crash, it was them that did this to us, and it's tragic to see that just so many people are going to continue to struggle over the next 3 years. Like, this isn't over. That's what I'm trying to tell people. Like, this isn't over. This is by 2026. Arguably, are they saying that things will be worse than they are now? Because that's really a world I don't want to live in. If the situation where this percentage is higher and this other percentage is higher, where people will have less money month on month and people will have more people have no money month on month, it's just a stark reminder that the next government, whoever they may be, will have to go big to really fix the problems that we are facing here. Because if they don't, things are going to get dramatically worse in this country. And I don't know if Labour come in and can't fix a lot of the problems that we're looking at, or at least try and improve things enough so people don't kind of fall into more populism or more radicalism. I am very concerned. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Support the channel on Patreon if you can. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.